Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be doing a first impressions on a new foundation that I've recently purchased, and this is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. I got colour matched to the shade 2, which is Alabaster. It is allergy tested, 100% fragrance free, moderate to full coverage and a natural matte finish. This is what the bottle looks like, so quite a classic Clinique packaging, and it's got pretty much the same information as it's got on the box on the actual bottle. And then the applicator, I think from watching other people's videos on this foundation, is a doe foot applicator, which is, I've never really used anything like this before. This is a little bit strange to me. I can't imagine that it's the most hygienic thing to use straight on the face and then pop back in the bottle. But I guess I'm the only one that's going to be using this foundation. I just can't imagine it's the most hygienic. I think for the first use, I'm going to see how it works using the applicator, and then possibly in the future I'll just pop it on the back of my hand and apply. So this is the first video I've done of this kind. You may have seen them on YouTube before. Basically I'm going to apply this now. Obviously I've got no makeup on. I have done my usual skincare routine this morning, so I've got moisturiser on, but it was maybe about an hour ago now, so it's completely sunken in. I'm going to put primer on one half of my face just to see if it makes a difference, and then not on the other side. Then I will, off camera, go and do the rest of my makeup, and then throughout the day I'll keep checking in and let you know basically my first impressions of this foundation and how it lasts throughout the day. The primer that I've chosen to use today is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer Smoothing Primer, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this on my finger and then just literally apply it to the right hand side of my face. I want to see if it makes a difference with how the foundation applies and also how it lasts. So I'm just taking this all over this side of my face. I've chosen to apply the foundation with a beauty blender because I think that this is the most kind of across the board way to apply foundation. So it's not, some brushes give me really sheer coverage, some give me really full coverage, whereas the beauty blender is just a nice in between, and you can build it up and use it in different ways to really build up the coverage. So I thought it was the fairest way to apply. So I'm just going to take the bottle, and this feels really strange to apply it like this. It's such a big wand. I think I'm just going to dot it. It feels quite thick. I'm going to concentrate on the areas where I have most redness. I'm not sure what the benefit of this applicator is, if I'm honest. So I'm going to start just on this side. First impressions, it blends in really beautifully. It seems like quite a nice, good full coverage, even though I feel like I've only put a little bit on. I'm going to go in with a second layer, I think, see if it's buildable. First layer on, and I would say it looks like a really nice coverage. It's covered up my redness and any blemishes that I had, but for me I just want that little bit more because I do want it to be a fuller coverage. So apply a little bit more to my more problematic areas of my face. I still can't get over this doe foot, and I'm just going to put it where I need a little bit more coverage. I am really pleased with this coverage. I feel like it's quite a nice medium to full coverage, and it still looks like skin, although it's covered everything up, which is nice. It blended in really, really well. I didn't really have to work with the sponge at all, which is a bonus, so it's easy to work with. So I'm now just going to go and finish off the rest of my face. I'm not going to powder, I'm just literally going to powder around my nose and then underneath my to set my concealer, because I usually need to powder there anyway, and that's what I would do with a normal foundation, so I'm going to give it a fair shot. So I'm going to go and apply the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be back when I have applied it just to see how I think it's fared after 10 minutes or so, and then we'll be back at different stages throughout the day. So I've just applied the rest of my face. I will put a little bit of the Laura Mercier translucent loose powder underneath my eyes and then in my T-zone, just because that's what I would usually do. So we're gonna see how this fares throughout the day. I have to say that makeup went on beautifully on top of it. It didn't move. It still looks like a really nice coverage, and I really like the shade, and it doesn't feel like I'm wearing foundation. Even though I've not set it, it feels very light on the skin, which I like. So far, so good. I'm impressed with this so far. So I'm gonna do some check-ins during the day. Me and Tommy I've got another video to film now, and then Tommy and I are going to town and doing like running some errands, going to do a little bit of shopping, have some lunch. So when we get back, I will check back in and let you all know what I think. So it's been about 5 hours since I've had the makeup on. It's stayed on really well. The only place it's come off a little bit is where my glasses have been on my nose, but that always happens, and also on the end of my nose a little bit. But I'm actually really happy with the way that it stayed on. It just looks really fresh and healthy. It's not really gone patchy or cakey anywhere. It does say that it's a matte finish, and I don't really think that it's kind of, to say that I didn't set it either, it's not 100% matte. I would say my L'Oreal Infallible Matte is 100% matte. Like, that is matte and it looks matte. This just looks really healthy. I think I'm just gonna touch up my nose a little bit because I am going out for tea. So I'm just gonna quickly do that now. So far, I'm quite impressed with this actually. Hopefully you can see that it's lasted quite nicely, but so far, so good. So it's now about 8:30, so that means that it's 4 hours after I last checked in, and the foundation has now been on for 10 hours. I am actually really impressed with how this has worn off. To say I hardly powdered it, it definitely isn't matte. I think that I look quite shiny, and I do quite like at the moment that whole dewy kind of healthy glow look. But if you were after a matte foundation, I wouldn't expect this to be 100% matte, especially not if you have oily skin, because mine's quite normal. I'd expect to have to powder it on a normal day-to-day basis. I'd probably use a little bit more powder, but I didn't today. I can't really see a difference between how it's lasting on the prime side of my face to how it's lasted on the non-prime side. I don't feel like I'd need to top up any concealer anywhere or anything like that. I am very impressed. Still feel like I've got quite a good face of makeup on, and I've been busy today. I've walked around town, we've been out for tea. It's been hot and I hardly put any powder on. I literally just powdered around my nose, a little bit on my chin and my forehead. So the only negative that I would have to say, which isn't really a negative for me because I still like the finish of it, it's just not 100% matte, or as matte as I would expect it to be, because it does say on the packaging that it is a matte finish. This I think will be the last light that we get natural sunlight, so the last check-in I do will be around 10 o'clock. I probably will be in my pyjamas, so I'm going to go and get in them now. It is now 1:45 and I'm absolutely shattered. Overall, I'm really happy with this foundation. I do feel, especially here, like I don't ever think a foundation has made me look as shiny as this one has. I don't really know how well you can see the shine on camera, but in real life, especially down my nose and here, it's a little bit shiny, which I actually prefer that to when things dry really matte and go all cakey and horrible and crumble off. It can be fixed a lot easier just by touching it with concealer or even just powdering. It's not clung to any areas, it's just kind of worn off. I definitely think that it is worth the money, and I think it will be suitable for all skin types, because it's not a drying foundation, but it's not matte, but it's not too dewy. I don't know, I just think you'd be able to work with it no matter what kind of skin type you had. I'm glad that I purchased it. I think it's lasted really well, and I just think it looks like normal, healthy looking skin. Even now, after, 12, 14 hours of wear, it still looks okay. Obviously it's come away from places and it's worn off, but it's gonna after 14 hours and it's nearly midnight. But I am really happy with this foundation. So overall, I do think this is a really nice foundation. Really glad that I purchased it and tried it, and I would recommend it. I didn't need to conceal. I wish I'd powdered a little bit more, but it lasted really well. It gave a really good coverage. I definitely think it's more of a medium to full coverage, and it's one that can be built up rather than full straight away, which I like. I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. I'm hoping that it's something that I carry on doing. Yes, that's everything for now. I'm going to go before I carry on rambling. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you very soon. Night night.